You disappeared and Brad came into picture. That was probably the best.
Thinking cap on.
That was probably the best thing ever right there. Not gonna lie. What is up, everybody? So,
What's up?
Daniel, I forgot to make a transition to our two-person screen, so we didn't transition in, but it was glorious anyways. It worked out. It worked out real well.
We have a 3-person screen because behind me is Brad.
Yeah, I know. He's hiding. Brad's in hiding. We don't know where he is. He's
I can't see you. See, you can't see me.
Yeah, he's hiding from the Chaos Gods because he's converting to become a Space Marine. Couple of surgeries.
Generic drone from a very cool movie that we like called Blade Runner.
Oh wow, he could be one of those like helper drones. I could be like, Brad, get me a Diet Coke, and then
That'd be nice.
and then Brad could be like,
He's tall enough for that. He can reach the Coke shelf.
I mean, you got to make sure you don't put it too high though, because if you put the Coca-Cola too high, that could be a problem.
I mean, he can never make you a proper drink though, because he can't reach the spirits level. It's like children secure.
That's true. But if somebody else were to put in the spirits for him, because they could reach him, he could shake them up real good.
He can shake them really good.
Real good. Like blast that stuff together. So
we're gonna ask him to have like a servo arm that can move.
I think medically
and vertically.
I think medically
really
he already has a servo arm. That's what I think. Like the medical definition of Brad's appendages on his upper body are called servo arms already, because they're just not.
I thought they were called T-Rex arms.
So, anyways, we miss him. So, Brittany said that he can just carry a step stool around. Oh, by the way, nobody tell Brad that I've always had access to chat, and I just choose to make him do it all the time. So just don't convey that message to him, so that he doesn't know that that like I could have looked at chat this whole time, and I forced him to do it. So just FYI. And the snooze goes in. So what's up, Daniel? How you doing? How's life?
It's all good. I want to take two questions out of here. I have pants. They're blue. And yes, I am drinking some white wine. So I'm good. How are you, man?
I'm doing well. I'm having some coffee. It's
way too early for you to have wine, right?
It's not too early. It's just the wrong day of the week.
One.
Yeah, wrong day of the week and too early. So,
yeah.
But I can have wine later potentially. So, Brittany, you're right. He does need to do things every once in a while. So that's why we got to keep pushing him. You know, me and you. It's a tag team effort. So, but we decided to keep the podcast going because me and Daniel we were in the zone. Where were we, Daniel? Where were we? We were right.
I have like a really big 40K zone right now.
Yeah, you do.
It's hard to miss. It's like a dartboard.
You're like
a really big dartboard.
I would say you're very pumped on Dark Eldar. You're like the most excited, maybe the most excited person I know on Dark Eldar because of, I would argue, the sheer amount of variety the Codex brings to the game.
Yeah, it's a codex that makes me really happy. It's the first codex that makes me happy since I started playing Harlequins, really, in 9th. Harlequins do not have a lot of variety, but they're still a super interesting and fun codex. Dark Eldar is a super fun and interesting codex with very intricate levels of complexity, and it feels like every unit I look at feels good.
Would you highly recommend any former Eldari or Dark Eldar players who maybe have got out of the hobby since 7th to get back in now?
Yes, because of two things. First of all, you don't have to buy any new stuff because all of the stuff is good, which is a good, entry level comment. It's good. You don't have to buy shit. Just take the stuff you have. It's going to be a good army. And secondly, it's fun to win, right?
Yep.
You're probably going to win a lot of games with Dark Eldar because it feels really, really solid.
What was that crazy list you were coming up with of like 18 Taloses or something crazy? What was that army?
I'm not saying this is good. It's untested. I'm just saying you can fit 9 Taloses and 9 Cronoses like 2 units of mandrakes, 1 unit of rack, and then 1 homunculi. If you put this in the right coven, it takes a crazy amounts of wounds to kill this. Or if you put it in Technomancer, it deals a crazy amount of damage. So it's a really fun way to play around with the stuff you have. That probably no one has 9 Cronoses and 9 Taluses.
Don't say no one.
No, probably no one has that. But it's still a really cool list, and that's what. And I honestly believe it's a viable list.
Yeah, it would probably be really fun too, right?
Yeah, exactly. So that's sort of as we've been talking about earlier. Like, okay, the succubus is probably the best guy in the codex, and wishes are super good if you play them as strive, so they can double strike, etc., etc. I always try to. When I try to build lists, first of all, because I think there's going to be an errata and a fac on stuff. So some of the crazy stuff are not going to be there in a month. So I'm not going to buy the new models for it.
Yeah.
Secondly, I always evaluate codexes from another perspective, right? So I evaluate codexes like, are Space Marines super good without plasma inceptors? Yeah, they are. Okay. So what do I want to put in my
plasma inceptors make them a lot better though.
Yeah. But that's how I try to evaluate stuff.
What are the things other than the revert jet bikes getting their points adjusted? What other things are you expecting to see in the errata that could potentially impact Dark Eldar, if anything?
I think the mortal wound machine in the succubus needs some sort of a change. Okay. It doesn't have to be massive, but the new attacks it gets can't be doubled, and maximum of 5 mortal wounds, or something like that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because right now it's a guy with like 7 attacks or something if you play it with the right warlord trait and stuff, and then you double that, and everything that doesn't wound gets a new attack that doubles.
Yep.
And you get like a mortal wound on 6s.
Yeah, so like hitting or missing doesn't matter. It's all great. So it's just an awesome thing.
I actually think it is hit attacks that doesn't wound. I'm not sure about that, but I think it is. But it hits on 2 up, so it doesn't matter, right?
Yeah,
so it's like all the attacks. Yeah. And with a reroll to wound stratagem from the strive from the Book of Rust, you can use fish. I mean, we're talking crazy amounts.
Fish for mortal wounds. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
just reroll everything.
If that goes
we don't say
3
fish.
or 5 mortal wounds at a maximum, or new attacks doesn't give extra double attacks or something like that.
We don't say fish on our channel though, Daniel. We say noodle. Noodling for.
Oh, sorry. If you don't noodle, for mortal,
for
don't noodle for mortal wound. Don't be a dick. Be a gentleman.
Yeah. Is that the only thing you think might get tweaked?
Now the bikes, as you said, I think they need to fix the Technomancer flamers. I think they should reword the Dark Technomancer from being ones to hit to ones to wound.
Okay, I think that'd be better. I mean, I think that'd be more balanced for sure.
Yeah, because now flamers are so strong,
overpowered. Yeah.
And all the other weapons are like a no-go zone. If it was 1 to wound, the other weapons wouldn't be that bad at all. But the flamers would be like, I can't have all these flamers because it's going to hurt a lot.
Yeah, that makes sense. I like that. That's not a bad idea.
Yeah. So like small tweaks.
I doubt that will be a change though. I don't think they'll come up with that change. That's just the Daniel.
I
mean,
you have to be really smart to think this up.
Yeah, you gotta be a freaking just game mechanic, man, to think of stuff like
that. No, but except for that, maybe stacking leadership minuses and Phantasmal Grenade Launcher is a little bit strong. The Void Raven might be a little bit strong. But overall, I just think it's a really balanced and fun codex where you can take all the stuff you have and just play with it.
What do you think about the rumors of the horses going down? Has that been confirmed? The horses going down by 1 wound, but going up by 1 toughness?
1 wound up 1 toughness.
Yeah. Yeah. What are your thoughts on that? Because I know your thoughts on Dark Eldar
I
are
think
positive.
the horses are, as I've been saying
OP.
for more than a year, they're way too strong.
Yeah, OP.
I don't think it matters that much if they
still do their job.
If they still have the stratagem. I think they're going to be an auto include.
Yeah.
And I am pretty sure. I don't know this. This is not a fact. I can be totally wrong. But if I look at all the other codexes, there's going to be one court, whatever you want to call it, one admech. It's called something else. Legion. You know what I'm
talking about. Yeah. I got you.
That has -1 damage.
-1 damage.
Yeah. And then the horses are going to be like 4 damage horses. That's going to be crazy.
That would be insane.
With toughness 4.
Yeah, that would be insane.
Yeah.
If that were to happen, then they would even. I don't know. That's arguably better. I'm not arguably. That is better.
No,
that is better.
Sick.
That's really good. Yeah.
Then the only way you can kill them is with Melta.
Yeah.
Anything else like plasma is like 1 wound. I don't care.
Or just sheer number of shots. You can kill them with number of shots. Like Noise Marines, just nuke them.
But with cover, let's assume they have cover.
Noise Marines.
And mine, with cover, it's like maybe up to 4 wounds with 3 up save. It's crazy for 16 points per wound per model. It's going to be 8 points per wound. But if you have -1 wound, you could argue that it's down to 4 points per wound.
Yeah,
so
that's true. Oh, that's definitely a valid point.
I don't know. Let's see what happens with it. I think those horses needs to be balanced. I've hardly ever won a tournament as much as I won the tournament up in north of Sweden when I played them and Blood Angels.
Yeah, you never had a problem.
It was like no one had a chance.
Yeah, you just controlled the board.
The only points I lost because I picked the wrong secondary in one game.
Which is a problem. I've done that before as well. So
yeah, it's a problem, but
it
doesn't give my opponent much.
No, it doesn't. It's your
problem. It tells
problem.
me that I'm fucked up. It was very broken. So I went 14-6. I picked the wrong secondary. That game should easily have been 19-1 or 20-0, and then the other 4 games was 20-0. Not even close.
So overall, though, if they do the Mechanicum cult that does do -1 damage, though, the horses might end up being even stronger if they still keep the strat. That would be.
I would argue that it doesn't matter what they do with the horses. The only thing that matters is what they do with the strat.
Yeah, I think
because the horses are super good at 80 points. No doubt about it. But they're not broken.
Maybe their points gets changed too potentially. So I'm curious to see what happens there, how they balance it out. I heard orcs might be getting strength 5 orcs or T5 orcs. They already have strength 5
T5 orcs with some bonuses. I actually hope that is true because then they get a toughness value without a big point adjustment. I think what orcs need is way more damage.
Yeah.
I don't care if they die easily. They can die easily as fuck. They should also be some sort of a glass cannon army type. The problem now is they're not dealing any CC damage at all. Orcs today is a shooty army.
Yeah.
That's the only way to play orcs.
Yeah. No, I would 100% agree. Yeah, smash guns, rockets. Those are pretty much...
no Lutas anymore with the AP1 and damage 2. They're too expensive. But rockets, smash guns, maybe the big guys.
Kill saws are not bad.
Gorkanauts, other stuff. But,
yeah, I think kill saws are pretty good. Kill saws are good, and custom mega blastas are good. But again, shooting for the custom mega blasta. Yeah. But D6 damage there is really nice. But the kill saws, I think there's a strat to make them 3 damage.
I like damage 3 kill saws on Death Skull Meganobs, taking the center of the board, just saying, I'm here. Yeah. And KFF giving 5-up invo in close combat makes them, they're good. They're not as good as most of the Space Marine Terminators that also have 3 wounds. What's going to happen probably is that the nobs are going to get 4 wounds.
4 wounds.
And then now we're talking. That's a huge difference.
Yeah, that's a big difference. I think orcs also...
Because it used to be they had 3 wounds and most of the Space Marines had 1 or 2 wounds.
Yeah.
That was big, but with a more... Everything is dealing more damage. I mean, the way Games W is when I play this game is that they want you to deal more damage because the game should be faster.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're trying to figure that out in 40K because in
don't
AOS...
deal more damage, and they don't have the extra wounds, so they're off balance right now.
Well, in AOS, they solved it real easy by making the damage just roll over. And I think they're not trying to do that with 40K right now.
No, it doesn't seem like that.
Yeah.
There's like some stratagems and stuff like that.
Yeah, a couple small things.
They're trying to make that more unique, which I like because I really like the uniqueness of codexes. I think that's something we should strive more for. The uniqueness of this codex can Overwatch. This codex can do this stuff.
Themes, yeah. Yeah, no, I totally agree. Yeah, I like like Dark Eldar's Vect ability is awesome. The fact that they're trying to make it elsewhere, I hope they stop doing that as much. So canceling out stratagems or making stratagems cost more.
I played that this weekend. It was really nice. Just making one CP more. And it's the stuff permanent. Someone is going to use all the time.
Yeah, it's like I use Vets. Okay, cool. Vets is 2 CP from now on. Like
I played Harlequins with 3 bike units.
Yeah.
First time he got 3 up immo, I was like, that's going to be twice as expensive.
Yep.
You want to do that twice every turn. This is going to be, you're out in turn 2. There's no more 3 up immo.
Yeah, it works with transhuman too. You use transhuman, you're like add more CP to it. That's it, done. Yeah. So I think it's actually
or intervene in combat, which is already 2. Making that 3.
It's like you're not doing it.
Combat oriented army that it's huge because then people are gonna go like, nah, it's not even worth 3 to go in between here.
Yeah. They're not even gonna do it then. So I
totally. The only thing you can't do it on is command point rerolls.
Yeah, of course, but that makes sense. That's fine. That's fine. Yeah, that's not a problem. I think that's totally fine. So, but yeah, no, I know you're not here. You're orbiting around the hand with just excitement of Dark Eldar and everything.
Going back to Dark Eldar, it's a super fun codex.
Yeah.
I suffered a bit because, as you know, I'm a Blood Angel player. I would say maybe a primary Dark Eldar player, Blood Angel player. Actually, that's where I did my 40K career in 5th and beginning of 6th, and with all the flyers and stuff. I felt it was so boring because it was like the Space Marine Codex with 2 new units. I didn't get the mojo there, and I really tried with Necrons. Didn't work for me. It was a lot better than the 7th Codex, but it's not there. It's not funny, it doesn't challenge me as a player.
Your camera's going nuts.
And now when we get this, I feel like, oh my God, I can do anything. I can just open my wardrobe and pick up random stuff and play with. And it's super interesting.
Yeah. No, I totally, I sense your excitement before the podcast starts when we just talk and chit chat. You're already pumped about it. So I totally see that. Brad's playing Dark Eldar this next event, Motor City GT. So he just made a list. I think if he was here, he'd probably want to talk about it. So I'm glad he's not here because I don't want to listen to it.
I could probably tell you his list.
I doubt it. Go ahead. I have his list. Go.
Yeah. So he's playing either 3 patrols or a real space raider. But I doubt he plays a real space raider, because if he plays a real space raider, he's not allowed to use the stratagems from the Book of Rust. So he's playing 3 patrols. And 1 patrol is definitely Dark Technomancer. The other one is Strife. And the third one is a question mark, but I would say he would go with Dark Rose.
Third one's
Black Rose.
Which one?
Black Rose with the Vect ability.
Cabal of the Black Heart?
Yeah, Blackheart.
Yeah, you got it. You nailed it. Those are all 3 of his attachments. Yep, that's correct.
And then I can tell you the units he's using, because this is the best.
It's okay, the best. All right, let's go. Go for it. I'm curious.
I cannot tell you exactly
Let's
where
start.
they
Let's
are
start.
placed.
Let's start with the Dark Technomancer. What's in the Dark Technomancer?
Okay, so he has. I cannot tell you exactly how they're placed,
This
but
is fun
I
though.
would
I'm just
guess
curious.
he's playing Homunculus, 3 5-man units with flamers. No, 2 5-man units and 1 10-man unit that is buffed with extra flamers of racks.
Okay. What else? Is that it? That's your guess? Okay.
I mean, that's probably
he's
what
way
he wants to put
he's
in
way more.
I don't think he want to go for the grotesques, and he doesn't want to play the big guys.
He's more MSU.
There are some units that doesn't matter where they are. So there could be Incubi, Scourges, or Mandrakes in here.
Yeah.
I don't know that. I can just tell you he has 2 5-man units of Mandrakes for sure, and he has 2 Incubi units for sure.
Yep. You're accurate.
Yeah.
Okay. What else is in the list? Go ahead. Keep going. I like this. This is fun.
He doesn't play the
Cult of Strife.
Since he doesn't play the trick with the leadership from Dark Creed, he's probably gonna play on the Strife. He's gonna have one. He's probably gonna have 2 succubuses in the Strife.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
And one is with a whip for the mortal wounds, and the other one is with the relic for the D3, the flat 3 damage.
Yep.
And then he's probably gonna have like 10 and 5-man units of succubuses. No, of vicious.
Yep.
Yep. He's probably gonna have a bike unit and a Helios unit.
No, that's where you messed up. The
Okay.
bike unit. No bike unit.
No bike unit. Only a Helios unit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, you pretty much got the whole list.
The last unit where he has the Archon, 1 unit of warrior. He puts a lot of raiders in between here. And
that's it. You're good. That's pretty much it. You said everything. Yeah.
So I had a Helios unit wrong.
Yeah. No, the Helios unit, you were good. Reavers.
That's probably the best army. Yeah. That's where I don't really want to go. Because
that's the best army. I don't want to play the best army.
No, but I think there's so much good in the army that is.
No, you don't have to tell me. I totally agree with you. I don't want to play this list either. I want to play your Kronos and Talos army. When you said that list, I was like, ooh, I have all those models. Let me make that.
Yeah.
So
where I want to go with
or I can get those models.
This strong is somewhere else than down like bandwagon memory lane. I think it's I totally understand it, and to be honest, I love winning tournaments. So I'm not doing this because I like losing tournaments. I'm doing this because this is expected. If I can tell you more or less his entire army straight off the bat, then there's going to be a few players of those.
Yeah.
So where I want to go somewhere where what I'm doing is not expected, and where I have the tools to handle that army.
I think 18.
I want to go in.
I think 18 big monsters, 9 Kronos, 9 Talos is different. I think you should look into it.
Different.
I think
it's very different. I'm
nice.
gonna try it.
It's just.
I'm gonna get back to you and tell you if it sucks. It might suck.
It might suck.
I don't know.
It might suck.
It might be horrible.
Yeah. It might be like, why did I do this to myself? But it sounds fun. So.
Yeah, exactly. That's where I want to start out. I mean, I can end up where Brad started.
Are you going to mix Dark Eldar with anything else when you start playtesting it more? Are you even looking into that?
I really love Harlequin stuff.
So maybe mixing.
I really like Harlequins. I think they're so strong. And I don't think the power from Pain, except for turn 2.
Turn 2, run and charge. Yeah, run and charge.
Except for that, it doesn't have that much value.
Yeah, and I think they missed an opportunity with the Power of Pain table to either be able to do it in reverse or be able to augment it or change it or stay in one for an extra period of time. Or
there are ways to augment it with Chronoses.
Yeah,
that's also why I like Chronoses.
Yeah,
but I really don't see the value. You get a 5-up invo in turn 4. It's like it's a little bit too weak. You get Fearless in turn 5. I don't care. Fuck, I won all my games in turn 5. Or lost them. It doesn't matter if a guy runs or not. That's just
you gotta have closer games, Daniel. come on, man.
Yeah.
So me and Brad's game.
The game isn't designed to have
turn 5.
that. Or it is maybe if you don't play 20-0 systems like we do in Sweden.
Yeah, if you don't, well, I don't know how your system is 20-0. Can you explain that to me? Actually, I think that's a good segue. So like, let me explain to you what we did at Glass City and what my thoughts on it were. So going in, I underestimated how much differential would play into the way I play the game. So I got there, I realized it was not only differential, but it was also bracketed. So I said, oh my God, in order for me to make top bracket, it's not enough to win all my games. I have to win all my games massively at a differential. So if game 1, I was able to win massive differential. It was huge. It was like 100 to, I don't even know, less than whatever it was. The differential I had was a 16. So it was like almost a perfect. The highest you can get is a 20. So 16 times 5, that was the differential. So 75, about 75 points was the differential. So it was like, it was a 22 to 100 game or something like that. So that was round 1. And then round 2, I played Brad, and our differential was only 2. So it was much tighter game. So what we did was, it was like normal game, battle points up to 90, plus 10 for painted. So it was out of 100 total. Then you subtract the 2 and you divide by 5. And then whatever that number is, each player adds it to 20. So if your differential is plus 9, you get 29. If your differential is minus 9, you get, 11.
So what we do is we play, we're playing with 20 points. We're back in the 20-0 system.
Okay, but how do you do that for primaries and secondaries? Walk me through it.
Yeah. So the differential between you and me, let's say that's between 0 and 5, then it's a perfect draw. It's a 10-10. If I win 6 over you, so it doesn't matter. Let's say it's
an 11-9.
74. I get 11-9.
Okay, so yours is the same way.
5 more, 12-8. 5 more, 13-7. 5 more, 5 increments of 5.
Okay, so the only difference then between your event...
So you need to win with 51 points or more to get a 20-0.
Oh, wait. Okay, so that's a little different then. So... Oh, that's because you're getting the 10 points. Okay, got it. That makes sense. So you got to win by 50 or more to get a 20-0.
51 points. If you win with 50, it's still a 19-1. Because you start with the first 0 to 5 is a draw. So I think that's a really important step.
Yeah.
Because if you don't win with more than 5 points, it's not a win. It's a
we had draw. The same thing too. We had the same thing at Snigs' event. At Glass City, the same exact thing. Yeah. The only difference was Snigs was adding to 20, not adding to 10. So it was actually impossible. Technically it's not impossible. If you left your opponent at 0 and you scored 100, you would then get you would get essentially what would be a 20 in your system, which would be a 40 in his. But that was the only way. If they got 1 point, then you can't get it.
But we're only doing basically on half of that. So it's easier to get a perfect score, but it's very hard. I mean, to be honest, it's really, really hard to win with 51 points in 40.
It's very hard. Very, very hard. Yeah. Very difficult. I couldn't agree more. And that's what kind of... No, I like yours. I like the way that WTC is doing it a lot, actually. That makes a lot of sense. So 51 points is a win. So like an 81 to 30 clear win, 20 points. Yeah. I think that's totally fair. Yeah, that's totally fair.
Yeah.
And that's not like...
Fair. And it also gives other players. What I really like about it is you can go into a match and you can say, like, I don't really have a chance to win this game, so I'm just getting these points.
But exactly.
And
if you can get like
20-0, it might be 16-4, and it's like I got my fucking 4 points. I'm happy about it because I couldn't win the game. I played as smart as I could from the conditions I had.
Yeah. And I think all team events should learn from Glass City and Snigs' event and learn from the lessons there and learn from WTC. Because like I don't think that there's any reason to do it any other way, to be honest. Like you need to make sure that losing doesn't cost your team. Like losing by less helps your team overall. That's really important. Yeah. So and it can't just be add up the points. I don't think it should just be add up the points.
And between you and me or anyone that's listening, of course, but in our discussion, I like both styles. I like win, draw, loss, and I like 20-0. I don't mind. I'm just gonna bring different lists and play it differently. I need to change my mindset a bit about it, and then I'm gonna and it's gonna benefit different armies. Like,
But from a
I
team
don't think.
perspective, though, Daniel, from a team perspective, though, like, how do you?
Yeah, from a team perspective, I always
I think
think
you need
both
differential.
things should be in play. So I love the WTC point of it, which is the entire game is a win, draw, loss, but every single game that is played adds to the value of the points.
Yeah.
I think that's the best way to do it.
And I think if you don't do, I think that's the best way to do it. And I also think that if there isn't a differential in the equation, then it doesn't really matter as much, right? Like if you just say like, hey, we're just going to do it by
Everything
adding
is
battle.
win, draw, loss, boom.
Or even let's say they don't do it that way. Let's say they do it this way, Daniel. So let's say you have 5 players, right? 5 versus 5 in the team event. So it's like an American version. I think LVO actually is doing one now. Like ATC's canceled, but I think not LVO, but the frontline guys are going to do one in September. ITC Team Championships. So I think it's 5-person teams. So I want to get your opinion on this. So do you think it should be you sum up the battle points for all 5 rounds? So if like game 1, your guy got 50, game 2, your guy got 60, game 3, your guy got 70. You just add them all up, right? And then you go to a differential for the overall team as a sum, or do you do it within the game? So you take the differential.
You don't even have to tell me the rest of it. No, because the only thing that is important is how the game was. It doesn't matter if you got 90 all your games if your opponent got 89 in all your games.
Exactly. That's my point.
That game is a draw. The game has to be played out. That should be a 10-10 or whatever you want to say it is. 1 point for you. It could be 1 point. That is also fair. It's a draw. You got 1 point. You won with 1 point. You get 1 point.
Yeah.
But the differential, the differential here is the important stuff. That's the problem with the system right now. Because right now it's better to win 90-89 and not actually play the game. Just let your opponent do stuff. Don't interact, and just do your stuff. I'm getting all my points. He's getting all his points now, and then you kill his screamers, so he can't get
totally agree.
The last point on engage.
Totally agree.
And you get 90. He gets 89. And in a win or loss system, you get 1,090 points in this game.
Yep.
That's wrong. You didn't win this game. You should get 1,001 point, or you should get 500 points. I don't know. But you shouldn't get 1,090 points, because if you and me play a game and I'm fucking crushing you, but you're putting it up there and I get 60 and you get 20, I shouldn't get less points than the other guys that had like a pillow fight in a corner. That sucks.
Yeah.
That's really what I'm saying.
How much,
with all these things.
And then how much do you think the team would need? So if you do differentials, if you do like 10-10, 11-9, 12-8, all that kind of stuff, you figure that out, right? So within the game.
I think on a 8-player game.
Let's do a 5-person team.
5-player game, you probably need
16?
6 points. 6 points in a swing.
6 points. Something. 6 points overall to make a win.
8 points. I don't know, something like that.
I was gonna say 16. I was gonna say 16, and here's why. Here's why I say 16.
Are you talking in a 20-0 system?
In a 20-0 system. In a 20-0 system of 5 players, it's 100 total points.
You can get 100 points.
Yeah.
And to win the game,
to win the round,
them to get 66 versus 34.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. Yeah. And the reason why, the other reason why,
there's going to be a gazillion draws.
Okay. So you're saying less. What do you think? 12?
Yeah.
How much less?
8.
I don't know, man. You get one guy smash. You get one guy to smash, like 18-2.
But in a pairing game, one guy is going to get smashed on both sides.
I don't know if that's true anymore with ninth. I don't think that's true anymore, especially with 5-person teams. You still think it's true? I don't think that old defender thing is true.
In pairing, I think a smart player can put 1 or 2 lists there that you can just force in that smashes shit.
I mean, it's possible.
Maybe a smash isn't 20-0 in the same sense as it was in 5th or 6th or 7th.
The way I was looking at it is this: big. There's 5 players, right? A real solid win is, like, what would you consider a solid win? I would consider a solid win like a 13-7. That's like a solid win.
14-6, I would say.
14-6?
Something around there. Yeah.
Well, so that would be like 4 points, right? So out of 5 people, if you get that 3 times, that would mean you have a majority of wins, which is like around
No,
12 points.
it's about if you get it 2 times more than the opponent, that's 8 points in differential. Then you won the game.
Point. That's a good point.
You definitely won the game, because that's probably means you had one that smashed someone, one that won 14-6, one that drew, and then one that lost a bit, and one that got smashed. But that, you know,
how many points? How many points are you saying then? Give me the sum. What was the difference? So I threw out 16. What was yours? 6? I think 6 is too small.
8 maybe.
8 might be too small too, though.
58.
Okay. All right, I see what you're saying. I mean, it's definitely a valid point.
Something like
that.
I don't know. I mean, especially if you have a draw cap of 5 points, you know.
Yeah, oh yeah. I think you need to have that within the game.
A small win is not a win of 1 or 2 points. It's not a win. It's not a bonus point. It's a draw. If you have like big steps on the, you can turn this around and you can say the smaller these gaps get, the bigger the big gap can be.
That's true.
So if you're only having like to win 20-0, you only have to win with 30 points.
No, I think 51 is
make the gap bigger. Then.
No, I think 51 is the sweet spot. To be honest, I think 51 is the sweet spot. I'm just thinking about it logically. Like, let's say you had like game 1 is a 12-8, game 2 is a 12-8, game 3 is a 12-8 in your favor, right? That's giving you now 6 points, right?
Yeah.
So I see what you're saying, because then in order to actually like win now, right? Because you only have, well, your differential is not 6. Your differential is actually 4. Your differential is right now 12. Then let's say the other team, you won so far. But let's say the last 2 games are like an 18-12, right? Or an 18-2, right? So that's like 8 points for them all of a sudden, right? So now it's a 4-point differential, and then the final game is another. Yeah, I think you're right. Actually, I think 8's a pretty solid number. I think you hit it on the head. That's a really good number. I don't know. I don't know if a team can get to 8 without having a clear win.
You need to win the game, you know.
Yeah.
If you don't win the game,
what do you think about that one rule ATC tried? I don't know. I don't think WTC or ETC did this. I'm not sure. I don't think so with 8 players. But ATC said if 4 out of 5 people win their game, just win their game. 11-9 is fine. You get a win for the round.
I like that. That could actually be a second win condition.
Yeah.
You could say like this. You have to win with 6 points, or that 4 out of 5 players win the game.
Yeah, 4 out of 5.
And you're on a plus side.
Yeah, 4 out of 5 winners win the game, and you're on the plus side. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's a good one too. So like if one player got 20-0'd, right, but then all 4 of your other guys
won 11
got 11 9s, right? You still win the round, right? You sacrificed your one guy.
No, you wouldn't, because you're on a negative side.
Okay, that's interesting. So you wouldn't win the round. You would
No.
You would actually lose the round in that.
You would lose the round.
I don't like that.
No, but that means you wouldn't win the round anyway.
Well, if 4 guys won by small amounts, I don't know, man. You're right. I can make an argument for either side of that. I can argue either way. I can say that those 4 guys won by such a small amount.
What I'm trying to add with this discussion is if you win just a little bit on 4 and like have a draw, but it's not big enough to actually make 8 points differential, maybe you should win the round anyway, because you didn't lose games and you won everything. There could be like a secondary win condition to get the extra points.
Yeah.
But if you win 11-9, 4 games, you have an 8-point differential.
Correct.
Then you lose 20-0 on the 5th game. You're down, man.
Yeah.
You're down 12 points.
Yeah.
You're losing.
Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah. So what I would argue here is like if you have 11, 11, 11, 10, 10, 10 or something like that, you're obviously winning the round, but you don't reach the cap of the points.
Yeah.
Maybe there could be like win, draw, loss. We fucking won the game. You can clearly see we won the game. So
yeah, I mean, potentially, if you make it 8 points, right, you could have all 5 players on your team win by 1 or 2,
Yeah.
and it could be 5 consecutive wins
No,
by 1 or
it
2, and
could
you still
easily
lose,
be
you
like
still
that.
draw.
If you only win by 1 point, let's say, then you have a differential of 10. No, you can't. On 5 players,
On 5
if
players,
you
you
win,
can't. You have a differential of 10. Yeah,
So
you're right.
on 8 points with a bigger differential, that's where this is relevant.
Yeah.
On a 5-player, it's not relevant.
Yeah. Okay. I get that.
But you could also have, if you win 4 or 5 games, you win.
I like that too.
Or if you don't win 4 or 5 games, you need more than 8 points in a differential.
I like both of those. I like multiple ways of winning, multiple conditions.
Yeah, I mean, it could be interesting because it goes back to army building construction, right? The construction and the hardening of the list is what most of us are fucking living and dying for. That's what I do when I wake up and when I go to bed. I'm like, I have 5 points left in my army list. I don't know where I want to put it.
I have people,
like, a fantastical grenade launcher or another flamer. It's like I can spend hours and hours thinking about this.
I love when people call me about this and they're like, "Hey, this is where I'm at in the list, and I got 15 points." And I'm just like, I don't give just put it anywhere. I don't like whatever you want. I don't know, any piece of. They're like, no, man, I got this idea. I can retool this over here to make this change. And I'm just like, man, why do you guys do this to yourselves? And then I realize I do the same thing. I call Carmona and I'm like,
every morning, every day.
I'm like, hey man, I could squeeze in. I could squeeze in a Demon Prince. I can squeeze in a Demon Prince without wings. All I got to do is drop these 3 spawn, make this guy not a Terminator armor, make him a regular armor, and then move this over here, and then remove one guy from this unit, and I got a Demon Prince. And he's like, stop messing with the army. Like, just leave it alone. And I'm just like, no, keep going. So I do the same thing. So it definitely happens. I was gonna ask you one more question. Terrain. I don't think. I know we talk about this a lot, but I had a different type of question. I don't think the quantity of terrain on the table matters. This is my opinion. I think 7 pieces is not a good thing.
You're saying you don't care if it's 11 pieces on every table.
Yeah, or 7, or 5, or 22. Yeah. It's something different to me, and I want to define what I think needs to be there. But I was curious to get your input as well. And I was going to let you go before just so I don't impact you. But like when you get to a table, how do you determine there is enough terrain? I know for a fact you don't count the number of pieces. So like what do you actually
I would of course not
Of course. Yeah, but then but you hear from a lot of people like, "Oh, well there's 7 pieces on there. There's 9 pieces on there. There's 10 pieces." Well, it doesn't matter. I don't care about that. I care about these things. So what are the things that you care about? When you get to a table, how do you assess this is the proper table for 9th edition?
Okay, so I like the idea of actually having a set number of pieces on the board for one reason. When you're putting up 11 9-inch huge ass ruins on the board, everyone is going to look at it and feel like it's too much, man. We have to deduct from this table. So you're starting to deduct because it's too much, because you have way too much obscuring stuff, and then you're putting a forest here and there, and then you're putting like a smaller ruin here and there. Maybe that doesn't have a base. It could be a ruin wall. And then it's like, where we're at now, we're only at 7 pieces of terrain on this table because we have this huge ass thing. I don't know. Let's imagine they have a huge ruin in the middle. So it's only 7 pieces, and that one is really big. And then it's like, yeah, but we said we should have 11 pieces. What about putting some hardcover containers and like some fuel pipes? Because where I want to go is we haven't had rules for terrain for editions. I mean, I don't think we had it in 6th or 7th or 8th. Like really good rules that actually gave you benefits and ideas and like stuff you could work around. So I would love to see that every board has, I don't know, 10 pieces, 12 pieces, somewhere there. But for me personally, I think the WTC went a little bit heavy on obscuring ruins where they could have put other stuff. That's sort of where I am at. So if I come to a tournament, it's fucking littered with terrain. But you even have like one of the imperial statues So it could be relevant for an Imperial player to get one more leadership close to that piece.
Yep.
They could have a cow statue on the same table, or a Eldar statue. You can work with the rules we have of terrain. I think that is going to make the most interesting stuff. Going back from that, so I would say it's probably like 10 to 12 pieces.
How structured do you want it? So it sounds like you kind of want this to be a little bit more structured than you want other things to be.
No, it doesn't have to be structured.
Okay.
I don't care. On a single man tournament, I don't care. I want to come to the table and adapt. And sometimes when you come to a table and you realize this is a horrible table for me, but that's also fine because we're playing in a single man tournament. It could be excellent for the other guy who happens to bring 18 smash shots to a tournament.
Yep.
And he had 3 tough games because it was just ruined walls everywhere and he couldn't shoot a single shot in the entire tournament.
Yep.
I like the unpredictability. I do like, however, that you have an idea of it's going to be covered tables, it's going to be shooting lines, but it's not going to be a bowling ball.
Yeah, no,
I don't want to play at a bowling ball. It's not fun. It doesn't give anything back to advantage of tactics or anything. So it should be like 10, 12, 14, I don't know. Say 14 pieces. It doesn't matter. If all the pieces are in ruin, obscuring, if it's some craters, some fucking statues, but it should be fairly covered, I think. But you should utilize the other stuff. Because there are interesting routes. Like, if I'm Incubi getting charged by Dark Angel Blade Guard veterans, and I'm behind hard cover, I get like a 4-up save, man. They're not gonna kill shit.
Yep. No, I totally agree. So
and that's an interesting aspect of the game, which has been introduced by the game makers. And if we're not utilizing that, we're taking away aspects and complexity in the gameplay, which I think, to be honest, if we play with it, it's going to take out new champions in 40K, which can handle a complex environment. And it's probably not going to be me, because I forget all these fucking shits all the time. I hate defensible. I'm shouting like, defensible, I get +1 to hit. And it's like, yeah, but that guy is outside of cover. Oh, yeah, you're right. Again, like every time I'm just shouting, defensible!
No, I couldn't agree more. For me, I don't think the number of pieces matters as much. I think the placement of terrain per mission deployment is a big deal. So I think how we have like you go to a tournament, you get a packet, and it says this is your deployment for mission 1, and this is the mission you're playing. I think there needs to be, this is how the terrain is set up for mission 1. And there's a quick little drawing.
This is obviously a huge pain for tournament organizers.
Yeah, and maybe it needs consistency.
This quite easily.
Make it just use common sense.
We could say after we roll it starts, you can change 2 pieces. I can change 2 pieces.
That's not a bad idea.
Not move them, just change direction of them.
Yep, that's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea of one option to fix it. I think that's a problem. I think also the inconsistency is fine. I'm fine with inconsistency, but I do think we need an obscuring piece of terrain from now on in deployment zones. And I think we need one in the middle of the board. I think it just makes the game better.
No. I totally agree. I mean, I would say that any table without 6 obscuring pieces is a bad table, but the other 6 pieces could be whatever they are. It could be
I love the idea of using everything, like making sure a forest is on every board, making sure obscuring is on, not obscuring, sorry, obstacle.
Making sure a forest is on every board because Astra hates
that's what I meant.
If there's a forest on a board, Astra can't hit better than on a 5-up.
Astra does not like it.
It doesn't matter. It's like you can't draw a line to this without crossing the forest. I know it's horrible.
What I would say is the variety that I would like would be there. I would like a forest on every board, but I would like some boards to have 2 forests or 3 forests, and some boards to only have one forest. I would like also to their like for the same complexity to be on all the other aspects too. So like some pieces might have 2 obscuring pieces of terrain in the middle. Some might only have 1. Yeah. At a minimum 1, at a maximum maybe 2 in the middle. That's fine. You know, I think that's really important. I think obstacles are really important. Like if you're drawing line of sight through a piece of terrain, you know, that's really important. I think 1 defensible piece of terrain on the board is probably really important. And it could have up to 3. I think all of that kind of needs to be.
Every ruin has defensible and every forest has defensible. So we're probably talking about 8 of them or something.
Well, you need to, the tournament organizers though need to clarify that though. Sometimes they need to give the terrain, because if you're at the table and it's not clear,
super important to not say everything is ruined.
Yeah.
I think it's very easy. For me, it's very easy because it's very easy in the rules. If it doesn't have a base, it's a ruined wall.
Yep.
It says so in the rules because it's not area terrain.
So to get away from base,
it's a ruined wall.
I think
if your ruins doesn't have a base, play them as ruined walls. It's not a bad thing. It's nice. Ruined walls are cool. It elongates your fucking combat range, and so it's cool. It's cool. It's a cool rule.
I would 100% agree. The only thing I think is that in order to get away from what the rule book says, because I'm seeing that a lot. I heard that at other tables when I was at Glass City. I heard it on one of my tables where, you know, Snigs did a really good job of defining his rules for his event, how the tournament would work. I think we might need to either in the beginning, I think TOs need to take this in consideration and make it very, very clear.
And I think,
and then eventually we should standardize something.
I think that's super fine. Especially now we have rules for terrain. So now we can say this crazy looking ass Sench demon that I painted with a crashed in rhino into it. It's chaos inspiring. It's a chaos inspiring, you know, thing.
Yeah.
And it's super fun because you can take all the rules and apply it to your own terrain set. What I really have a problem with is if you take terrain that is obviously one thing and then you say it's not going to be that anymore.
That's a problem.
Because that's like proxying models on a tournament.
But some tournament organizers are still trying to like modify their terrain.
And I understand. You haven't rebuilt all your terrain. It's fine, and
you haven't blocked all your
fine.
windows.
Then
you haven't blocked all the things.
What you could do is you can print like this is the terrain rules, so you don't have to have an argument at the table.
100%.
You can have like
that's
two-side pamphlet.
That's the only thing I want. That's the main thing I want. So I wanted to ask you about that too. Like, I don't think the number of pieces matters. I think having it very clearly defined is what matters, and that makes games go by way better. Because I don't want to have to talk about terrain at all. I want it to just be in the packet.
And especially, this is double-sided. I think I remember in 5th, I think it was, when demons all had to deep strike.
And I just called everything impassable. That's impassable. That's impassable.
Every time. That's impassable. And that's impassable. And my opponent,
this is impassable,
very seldomly was as strong of a player as I was. So they just said, yeah, it's impassable.
Yeah.
And I hate that because I'm a fucking huge dick. It sucks.
You are.
This should be like predefined. It shouldn't be up to who's the strongest player who has the most mandate in this dialogue, because that's horrible.
You know what is up to the strongest player, Daniel? It's when that fish grabs your finger when you're noodling, and you grab that fish by the gills, by the teeth.
I don't think that's up to the strongest player, because I think Brad is the strongest one here, but he's so short. That fish is going to swim away with him. The
fish is going to carry him out into the deep.
Yeah.
Just we can
call him Muriel after this, like after the mermaid.
Oh, man, that's great. That's it for today, guys. We'll catch us on Friday. We're going to do list review and talk some more crap with Brad. And that'll be episode 2 of the actual podcast, which we will send out information for. See you, everybody.